Go.
All right.
You want to do an introduction and we'll start
Yes.
again?
All right. So here we go. I'm going to hand over to Ted. Everyone give Ted a big round of applause. Applause for Ted today. Ted, thank you for coming. I really enjoyed the book. I enjoyed your message, and I hope everyone else will enjoy it too.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Thank you. Hey, everybody. Good morning. My name is Ted Larkins, and I'm going to share with you how to have a love affair with life. I'm going to start off with a little story. A number of years ago, I was sitting in a taxi. It was a hot, sweltering day in Calcutta, India. And the smells of the curry and the sugar cane and the fumes from all the motorcycles wafting through the windows. And the taxi came to a stop, and I noticed we were on railroad tracks. I looked over, and there was a train coming. And I said to the taxi driver, "Move, move!" But he was bumper to bumper with the car in front. And the train kept coming, and I said, "Move," and he couldn't, and I looked behind, there was a car right behind us. And he couldn't move it. And I could still see the train driver silently through his windshield, screaming. As the train slowly slammed into the back of my taxi and pushed us down, and eventually off the tracks. And in that moment, in the silence that followed as the train kept going, I had a change. Instead of freaking out like I normally would have, I smiled. And I thought, wow, I got to experience that. I didn't die. Wow. Fast forward a couple of years. I was living here in Costa Mesa, and my sister called from Columbus, Ohio. She said, "Hey, Ted, I know you're going to Japan next week, but I think you might want to come home and see Dad before you go." I said, "No, I talked to Dad yesterday. He's fine." She said, "Ted, he's not so fine." Now, my sister's 5 years older, so like E.F. Hutton, when she spoke, I listened. You know, that's that one. So the next morning, I jumped on a plane. I was in Columbus, Ohio. I went, saw my dad. He had cancer over a number of years. And I said, I sat with him on his bed, and, "Hey, what's happening?" We talked about life, and I took him to the hospital for some chemo and what have you. And we had just a great week together. And finally, on the following Friday, I said to him, I sat on the edge of the bed, I took his hand and I said, "You know, Dad, I'm going to go as planned to Japan. And I just want to let you know, just say, it's tough for me and my dad." I said, "Yeah, I just want to say I love you." And then I kept going. And I said, "This might be the last time I see you in life." And I started crying and said, "Oh, it's been so great, blah, blah." He didn't quite cry, but there was a tear in his eye. And finally, he looked up and he said, "Are you done yet? No one's dying here. Get out of here." I sobbed myself in the car on the way to the Columbus airport. 2 days later, I was in a Tokyo restaurant with Shannon and Linda Lee. Linda is Bruce Lee's widow, and Shannon is his daughter. Bruce Lee died in 1973. I represented Bruce Lee in Japan, and we were doing a memorabilia exhibition, and we had flown the Lees over. So we were having sushi, drinking some sake. My phone rang. I picked it up. I saw it was Kathy. I said, "Hey, Kathy, what's up?" She said, "Ted, Dad died in his sleep last night." I was like, wow. I didn't know what to do, but Shannon was right there. I grabbed her. I said, "You got to come outside." She was a little hesitant, but came out with me, and I looked at her. I said, "Better than anyone, you can relate. My dad just died." And she gave me the best hug of life. I flew home right away, right back to Columbus. My two sisters and I went to the funeral home. My dad had asked me, no service or anything. And I walked in, and there was his little coffin, little casket thing. And I looked at him, and I leaned over, and I kissed his cold, bald head. And as I stood up, just like the time in Calcutta, I changed. I smiled. I said, wow, I got to experience that. I got to experience the last days of his life, and I get to be here now with my sisters. It was beautiful. You see, this get-to feeling was starting to solidify in my life, and it was something that had come to me when I was reading a book to my kids, a Dr. Seuss book, where he says, "Don't cry because it's over, smile because it happened." It was a very powerful moment for me. So, saying "I get to" is a way of collaborating with life. And what I'm going to share with you guys today, it's a quick 25-minute talk, is how you can apply this to your life. And at the end of the talk, I'm going to share an exercise that you guys can use today for the rest of your life that I promise, will change your life. We're also in the middle, we're going to do a little a little fun little exercise together. So we'll get to that. I think you all see a bag of chocolate on your table, so hang tight.